They're still placing walls, by the way.
Watch out! Watch out! They didn't know!
Oh my god!
Oh, fucking...
Wow, he really warned you.
With most shooters that you play, you spawn, you shoot, you die, you respawn, you repeat the cycle, right? There's not much difference between all the shooters out there. Now, there are some that are a lot better than others, but there's very few that actually break the mold and bring in something new in any sort of way. So, before I get into whether or not I believe Rainbow Six is just your run-of-the-mill shooter, or if it does actually break the mold in any sort of new way, I want to go over all the features of the game so that you know what you're getting. So as far as playing solo goes, there are 10 missions, or situations is what they're called in the game, and each one basically is a training ground for how to play the game, and you're going to use different operators or classes. You'll be placed in different scenarios so that you're going to learn the role of each class and the tools that they use, and you'll also get a look at the maps. So, one, if you do pick up this game, this is something that you're going to want to do right from the get-go. And I mean, it's not for like noobs. If you've played shooters and everything, it's still good to go through and do all this, because there are a lot of things in this game that aren't in your normal shooter. So it's one of the first things that I would suggest doing, and they're actually pretty fun. And so I enjoyed them. You do different scenarios. You'll set up defenses and fight off waves of enemies. You'll set bomb charges. You'll rescue hostages and so forth. And then you have classic terrorist hunt, which is back, and I personally think that it's the best terrorist hunt in the series. It's challenging with a lot of different types of scenarios. Again, you'll have modes where you're defending or you're trying to do certain items, and you can play terrorist hunt with a squad of friends or just solo, and it is a challenge. I mean, normal difficulty even will give you a pretty decent challenge, and then realistic is something I still haven't been able to accomplish yet on any map. So it's pretty hardcore. I mean, it's not just something you can just run through, especially if you're playing on realistic mode. But the meat of the game is multiplayer. And so you've got 2 teams of 5 players facing off with different objectives that include hostage rescue, securing a position, planting a bomb. There's no health regeneration, no respawns. And before each round begins, you choose an operator or a class. And there's 20 in total. You got 10 for defenders, 10 for attacking. And each one has a unique ability that they bring to the table. And it is extremely well balanced. And sometimes the operator that you choose can be the deciding factor whether or not you're going in for the win or the loss. And before each round, your team has a few seconds to set up. So if you're on the defending team, then this is where you set up your defenses. You can place reinforced walls up. You can lay down barbed wire, jammers, C4, etc. And then the attackers have a set amount of time where they have drones that they can use to scout out and try to find where the objective is on the map, because it changes each time you play. It might be in one location on the map one time, it might be in a totally different location another time. And then the defenders are also trying to destroy these drones while they're trying to set up their defenses. But what makes this game really stand out and so unique are the levels and the map, because most surfaces are destructible, which means no 2 rounds are ever going to be the same. And attackers have so many options when it comes to infiltrating and the tools that they use. Defenders, the same thing. I mean, you could choose not to set up a reinforced wall on a certain location and then actually shoot out a little peephole so that you can pop off attackers as they're walking up. Like, there's just so many different ways to play a map. So even if you're playing the same map repeatedly, there's still going to be a different outcome each time. And then once you're down, since there's no respawns, your teammates can still use cameras to spot enemies to help you out, which can also be destroyed by the enemy, by the way, if they're paying attention. So even if you die, there's still this degree of teamwork. There's still this tension going on because, I mean, it is possible for one person to take out 3 people on the opposing team if you're working well together. And so even if you're out of the action, it keeps the game fun. The sound is also something that deserves to be mentioned because I rarely ever talk about sound in a game, but in this game, it is very good and very necessary. Now, if you want the upper hand, then you gotta be paying attention to the noises. This is the first game that ever made me put on my gaming headset on the PC. Usually I just play with the sound coming through the speakers, but I actually put on my headset because it makes such a huge difference. You can hear enemies rustling through barbed wire, walking beside you, running above you. The sound cues are done really well. So, coupling together the destruction and the operators, the amount of teamwork that's encouraged in this game, I really do feel like Ubisoft broke the mold with Siege, and it's honestly one of the best shooters that I've played in years. Now, saying that, it's not perfect. There are some things that I wish were different, and one of them is that it's a shame that it's missing a campaign. So, like, whenever you're playing, you get these credits that you can use to unlock operators during the game, and whenever you unlock an operator, it plays this, like, really badass intro video. And whenever you're watching these videos, it's just making you think about how good a full-fledged campaign could have been. The other thing is, I wish there were more multiplayer maps, because there's 10 currently, which does sound kind of limited for a game with no campaign and that's multiplayer focused. But then again, I do have to give credit where the maps aren't static, because like I said, you can play the same map 5 different rounds, get 5 totally different outcomes, because the maps are so destructible, so many different entry points, that it really doesn't get old playing the same maps a lot of times, at least for me so far, because I have played a lot of hours into this game, and I haven't got tired of any of the maps. There's only like one map that I really dislike, but it wasn't because I played it so much, it was just because I just didn't like it. But the rest of the maps I thought were a pretty good layout. Now, they have stated that more maps are on the way, and also new operators. So they're coming out with like 8 new operators. They got 4 more maps that they've announced so far, and that all of this content is not going to be locked behind a paywall. So everybody who owns the game is going to get this content. So in closing, I will say that few games have kept me up until the middle of the night. And I've already spent a few nights playing till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning with my friends. And that's another thing worth mentioning, because all my friends did get it. I mentioned that a few weeks ago. We were having such a good time with the beta that we all decided to get the game. So when I'm playing with a group of guys that we're all working together. We're all in a Skype call, talking and chatting, being strategic, which is a completely different experience than playing this game with a bunch of randoms who don't have mics. But for me, I sit around during work thinking about playing this game, trying to come up with different strategies, and I'm always wanting to play. Like, I'm always, typing in our Skype convo, is anybody wanting to play? So for me, it's been one of the best games I've played this gen, and I currently can't get enough of it. In fact, it's one of the reasons why I've been uploading a little bit fewer videos recently, because I have been spending so much time on this game. So in my opinion, it is a solid shooter, one of the best shooters I've played in years.
Still pretty much on the marker, like just to the right of it.
To your right.
Somebody coming in back door. He's going in with his Twitch bot. He's still
Can you watch
throwing
that
the
left
bot,
side for Swank? You don't have to peek.
Deep in it. There you go.
You can just...
Fuck.
He's down, he's down. You
Pick him
gotta
up,
get
pick him
him.
up, pick him up, pick him up.
You're both dead.
Oh, coming, Swank, where you just got shot from. There you go, there you go, there you go, there you go. Play it smart, play it smart.
There's only one left. Oh, there he is. He's on the door.
To your left.
Same
Right.
spot
To the
you killed
left.
that Twitch. Same spot. Good shit.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Loading. Loud, baby, Jesus.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Uh.